So Midsommar is Ari Aster's new movie, his second directorial movie. Came out this year, 2019. Hereditary came out in 2017.
I think 18.
18.
18,
Okay.
yeah.
It's about a girl, Dani, played by Florence Pugh, who, by the way, kills it in
Definitely,
this movie.
yeah.
Florence Pugh, probably the hottest actress out of the last few years, delivering some major performances and really good movies. And I think she's destined for a very bright
Greatness.
future. Yeah. Midsommar focuses on Dani's life and her struggle with the suicide of her sister and the, I guess, murder-suicide.
Murder-suicide.
And sister. The movie doesn't really go back into that, which I didn't have a problem with, but I know some people did. But I didn't think it really needed to. That just sets up more of what the movie is about, and that's her relationship with her boyfriend, Christian, who plays a major...
Hate him. It's almost like he's only there when it's convenient for him.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of relationship is relying on the other person to be there when you need him, but he's kind of give and take. He's really considerate sometimes, and other times he's there, but he's not really there.
In the scene where Dani has called Christian and telling him about what has happened, well, she's screaming and crying. The next scene, it goes to where she's crying on Christian's lap. He's just kind of, rubbing her shoulder and just looking off into the distance, halfway doing his job. From the very beginning, it shows what kind of character Christian is going to be and what kind of character Dani is going to be. Mm-hmm. And Christian does not understand Dani and the problems she deals with and the problems her sister has. And even after Dani's sister commits suicide, he's still not understanding of what she's gone through. That's when the movie really starts to pick up, in my opinion. You get about 30 minutes in, and that's when the whole, midsummer events start happening. They go to Sweden. Christian's friend Pele, I think that's how you say it.
That's best I got.
That's where he's from. He's from Sweden, and so he takes his friends, Mark, Christian, Josh, and Dani, to Sweden so they can experience this event. The Great Feast only happens every 90 years.
Every 90 years.
But midsummer events happen every year in Sweden. These events really do happen. They don't get as grisly and as violent.
I would hope not.
As the movie makes them out to be.
Oh, Lord.
We started in Sweden in the midsummer events, and you can already tell things are kind of awkward. If you noticed, they welcome Dani more than they do the guys. Everybody gives Dani a hug.
Yeah.
Or they're always inviting Dani to, hey, come do this. Mm-hmm. So when they first get there, they talk about taking that drug that somebody gives them, and Dani doesn't want to. Nobody understands why she doesn't want to. Even Christian, you can tell he's kind of reluctant. So nobody understands Dani except for Pele.
It's really obvious from the beginning, I think, and as their relationship develops throughout the whole movie, it's more obvious on how he feels towards Dani.
Yes.
So
we get into it's about an hour into the movie, and it's the first ritual that kind of takes place, and it really
sets the tone.
That's when you realize, okay, something's really not right. And you've kind of felt it throughout the whole movie, and even when they get to Sweden, and it's when the two elders get up on the cliff and they jump down. If you notice, when the old guy jumps and he lives, the crowd starts echoing
in pain with him.
So it's like they share his emotions, which is a deeper meaning of the movie, is sharing emotions.
Dani really, at this moment, Dani is physically and emotionally checked out. She's like, I can't do this. Yeah. I'm trying to recover from my sister and my parents dying, and this is just too much. And she's ready to get out of there, right?
And who doesn't understand her?
Christian.
He is trying to have an open mind, he says, about what they do, all because we don't know this yet, but he's trying to do a paper.
Yeah.
He's trying to do a paper on the midsummer events there in Sweden. So after they take the drug and all get high, whatever.
Yeah.
That's when the weird stuff starts happening. Josh is trying to write a paper, and him and Christian kind of get in some hot water. His competitiveness with Christian to do this paper. Mark's stupidity gets him in trouble and obviously killed. Long story short, we're left with Christian and Dani's the last two. Pele tells Dani, he compares life to Danny as if 4 seasons.
4 seasons, yeah.
And early spring or late spring, early summer
is birth,
and winter is death. Mm-hmm. So towards the end of the movie, towards the climax in the last 20, 30 minutes, Christian and Danny's relationship is basically non-existent. It's over, it's done, all because of Christian and how he's treated Danny. Mm-hmm. And Pele has talked to Danny about, is Christian home? And I think Danny realizes that no, he's not.
That's a powerful scene. It really is. You know, we're both in relationships, and I don't know about you, but this movie made me like kind of look at myself in the mirror and say, am I doing what I need to be doing as a boyfriend?
And that's what it's supposed to be doing, because Christian is
not a good example.
The movie's filled with all kinds of different meanings. It's not just one big one. Danny having all this tragedy happen, and she goes to a Midsommar event in Sweden, and she finds a new family. Danny having power and doing what she does at the end, being May Queen and all, and accepting her new family and her new life is, and the movie ends in summer, is a way of her basically restarting a new life, starting a new life, or restarting her own.
And having control over her life.
And the one person who understands her throughout the whole movie is still alive, and Pele. Mm-hmm. Everybody else that does not understand her dies.
In the beginning, it gets hinted that he had his parents died. He tells her, he's like, I get what you're going through. And it's very subtle in the beginning, but towards the end, you see that he really is really passionate for her.
Yeah.
And shares a lot of the same emotions that she is having.
Another meaning that we picked up was, what is your relationship like? You know, it takes two. It's 50-50.
Takes two to work.
Danny could do her part, but Christian
wasn't always doing his part.
Yeah, he was not always there for her.
Yeah.
In conclusion, guys, me personally, I loved Midsommar. I thought it was, my opinion, I think it's better than Hereditary. I love this movie. I thought it was great. Easily my most anticipated movie of the year, and so far it's my number 1 movie of the year.
He hasn't seen Joker yet, so let's just...
Yeah.
Let's put that in there. So I didn't see this movie in theater. You did, didn't you?
Yes.
Saw it in theater. I didn't. I watched it for the first time the other day. I had seen the trailers. I've seen Hereditary. Overall, I enjoyed it. When the credits started rolling, I was like, I really don't know how I feel about this. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, that was a unique work of art.
Midsommar does a great job of, when I first saw this movie in theater, I thought, that was a pretty good movie. You know, that was good. You know, mm-hmm. Aster is, you know, creative.
Oh my goodness. His work behind the camera it's a visual treat.
Yeah.
If you don't like anything else about this movie, it is visually amazing to watch.
The cinematography is 10 out of 10.
Out of this world.
But I noticed a few days after I'd seen this movie the first time, it stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that it stuck with me until a few days later. And then I started thinking about, that movie was really good. So in the end, guys, Ari Aster is creative. He's powerful with emotions, the camera, the script, the dialogue.
For sure. Making
you feel completely uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And to me, Midsommar does its job.
And then some.
Yes.
This isn't I don't know, is it labeled as a horror movie?
Yes, it is.
It's not your typical, like, you know, there's not a monster or anything. This is a deep psychological horror movie, and if that's what you're into, absolutely, this is for you.
Yeah, check it out for sure. Next week, guys, Zombieland 2 comes out. I'm hype about it.
Yeah, Zombieland is really kind of an underrated movie.
It really is.
It's a pretty good film.
It is.
I love Woody Harrelson.
Anything with Woody Harrelson, I want to watch it.
Yeah.
He's great. So check that out. We'll be going to see that.
We'll see you then.
Thanks for watching.